Welcome to Your City at Work. I'm your host, Elisa Hines. Recycling has been performed in some capacity in Stillwater for many years. You see recycle bins all around town, and recyclables are either picked up at the curb or dropped off at the Convenience Collection Center on Perkins Road. What started off small has grown to a large percentage of participating Stillwater citizens. And even when 41% contamination became a problem, the city hired a recycling auditor to help citizens become aware of what is and isn't accepted. And citizens stepped up and helped the city reduce that down to only 22% contamination. Now, while that percentage has been cut almost in half, zero contamination is what the city would like to see. Especially now, when China all of a sudden decided they didn't want a lot of our recyclables because of the contamination issue, which is causing China to landfill a lot of the recycling we send them because it's basically just trash. Stillwater is now faced with what to do with our recycling. The city wants to keep recycling because it helps keep a lot of material out of landfills, so educating the public just may be the key. Plastic bottles, cardboard, and aluminum cans. The stuff recycling is made of. It's also a service Stillwater citizens asked for and received. Chris Knight is the Director of Waste Management with the City of Stillwater and says residents are serious when it comes to recycling.
70% of our customers have a recycling cart, our citizens, and then every day we monitor the set-out rate for these recycling carts, and we have a 55% to 60% set-out rate, which is pretty good for 70% having a cart. So we do pretty good as a community compared to other communities in Oklahoma.
And the city makes it easy for residents to recycle.
The recyclables are brought in and it's transported to our processor. The same thing goes for all your recyclables collected at the curb. They're collected in trash trucks, and then it is taken and disposed of at the processor to be processed.
We have a lot of cardboard recycling containers out. It's free service. We haul a certain amount of those daily as well. We only allow cardboard in those containers.
But Waste Management crew leader Dennis Dunbar says, please, no pizza boxes with oil or food stains. Those contaminate cardboard.
I think it's very important that we all do it properly. Otherwise, it could just get landfilled.
Now, Knight says manufacturers make it kind of difficult for the public to know what is actually recyclable.
There's so much plastic when you go to the grocery store now. Everything's put in plastic, and everything has a number on it. The 1 or the 1 through 7, it's going to have a number on it. But you have to really figure out your program and what's accepted. Like here, we only take 1, 2s, and 5s. But the manufacturers, they place a number on everything. There's some things, even though they might place a 5 on it, for example, it's not really what they're wanting. They're wanting things that usually that you consume something out of. That's what they're looking for, so they can change it back into another item. Your kids' plastic play toys in the backyard is not really what any processor is looking for. So it's trying to educate the public on that aspect of it. It's trying to educate the public on plastic bags, even though Walmart creates the issue for us because they have a number 2 on their plastic bags, and everyone goes to Walmart. But processors are not looking for that either. So even though we say 1, 2s, and 5s, it's educating the public on which 1, 2s, and 5s. It's very complicated, and a lot of people get confused, and I definitely understand why they do. That's why we're here. That's why we have a recycling auditor that goes around every day. It's really not to critique what people are putting in their recycling cart. It's to see if maybe they are placing things in there they may not know that doesn't belong. So we use that to educate that citizen on what's right and what's wrong. There is a potential in our auditing program that a citizen can get their cart removed, their recycling privileges, but that's usually just because if they're putting your normal household trash in there. If people look like they're really trying and it's just they maybe don't understand about the plastics, because that's usually the issue. It's either plastic or styrofoam, and those things can be worked out, and we usually get them worked out.
So no plastic bags, period.
No processor nowadays want plastic bags because it could jam up the machinery. They're really hard to recycle. They do say number 2s on it, but we do not accept plastic bags or sacks in general. They need it clean to make it to where they can process it and get a material recycled easily and safe as possible. So if it comes in mixed, like one of our biggest issues is plastic bags here in Stillwater, it contaminates the whole load. So if you get 6 tons of recycling, but say there's even just a few bags and 100 bags that contaminate most of the load.
So how do you keep from contaminating an entire load? Simply follow these guidelines. Make sure all your recyclables are in the correct bin. Glass in one tote and everything else in another one. Loose, not wrapped or bundled. Accepted items are paper, cans, cardboard, and only rigid plastics numbers 1, 2, and 5. You can find the number on the label or stamped somewhere on the item. Empty bottles and rinse cans, jugs, jars, and tubs before recycling them. Plastic number 1 are items such as carbonated and non-carbonated beverage bottles and caps, mouthwash bottles, peanut butter containers, salad dressing and vegetable oil bottles, syrup and ketchup bottles, and some oven-safe food trays. Plastic number 2 are items such as milk jugs, juice bottles, bleach detergent and household cleaner bottles, motor oil bottles, and butter and yogurt tubs. Plastic number 5 are items such as some margarine and yogurt tubs, lids, and empty medicine bottles. If you're unsure about an item, throw it away. And remember, don't line your recycle bin or cart with plastic bags.
About 75–80% of your household are number 1, 2, and 5 plastic recyclables. One of Stillwater's favorites, like the Eskimo Joe cups, is number 5. And if we all can just keep it clean like that, then we wouldn't have an issue of having to landfill anything.
So when it comes to recycling, if in doubt, throw it out. One item you might have noticed not listed in recyclables was shredded paper that used to be placed in clear plastic bags for recycling. If it's in a plastic bag, it will now be landfilled, so just leave it loose in the bin. Now, the Stillwater City Council is asking for your ideas. They met September 9th to discuss options for continuing the recycling program should they have to transport Stillwater's recycling to Tulsa or Oklahoma City, which could get quite expensive. If you have an idea for a cost-effective solution to the city's recycling dilemma, go to speakup.stillwater.org and click on Projects, and then select Input Needed, What to Do with Our Recycling. There you'll find information about the recycling program and also share your ideas with us. You've been watching Your City at Work. I'm Elisa Hines. Thanks for watching. See you next time.